whole life of doing theology and study had music all the time. My life is empty. Nobody talked about it in America. What was Islam? Our problem is we don't really understand what love is, because we think love is man and woman, friendship, we love things, but the love that Allah gives to us doesn't stop. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ismail Fenter. I am an American Muslim and I'm moving to Qonıya, Turkey, and I'm here because of Hazrat Mevlana. I was raised as a Christian, so I went to a private parochial school. But my life was normal. We played sports, I loved music, I played the guitar, I liked watching football, we watched the news, everything was very normal. My family wanted me, however, to go into the church full-time, to work in the church. They wanted me to put on a collar and be in front of everybody and give sermons and do that whole route. And I'm like, I want to be a musician or a professional athlete. My grandmother was very insistent, and she wanted me to go to school to learn to be a priest. I said, okay. While I was in university, I learned Greek, I learned Hebrew. I went to a different school for my last 2 years for college. We learned many of the other ancient Middle Eastern languages, Aramaic, we learned Babylonian. And then after that, I said, you know, there were so many things going on in the church at that time that I was not comfortable with. I wasn't sure what it all was. My professor at that time said, you know what, I really think you should go to seminary. He wanted me to go to school to put the collar on. So I said, okay. He thought it was important for me to do that. Teaching the Old Testament, you know, Torah, Tavrat. And I was learning and teaching, but I wasn't believing in what I was teaching. I had done so much searching and researching. I did not believe what I was reading about. You know, we called Hazrat Isa, we called him Jesus, of course, in the New Testament. But I wasn't understanding what was being told in the New Testament based on what I knew from the Old Testament. I knew of a teacher in Canada while I was at the University of Michigan. Of all things, he was a rabbi. He was in the same department that I was in. He was teaching in Canada. He was Department of Near Eastern Studies. He thinks I should become a rabbi because I know a lot. I know Hebrew, I know Old Testament, I know all of this. While I'm learning with him, he sends me to a Chishti sheikh, Sheikh Rakib, and we begin to learn together as well. And I do become a rabbi in the process. There's an interesting part of my story. Why? It's the only path that I know, because I don't know Islam from anything at this point. Nobody talked about it in America. What was Islam? He says, I'm coming to Turkey. I'd like you to come with me. Okay, I said. Okay, why not? And he and I had talked about what surrender meant and what it meant to be a Sufi, but I knew I needed to go, and that's all I knew. I just knew I needed to go. In 2005, happened to be Shebi Orus, the first time I came to Turkey. The sheikh knows no English, and somehow I got to say to him, please sit with me and give me something. And we sat in my hotel room, in the Rumi Hotel, and he did zikr, he recited Surah Baqarah, and he gave me some prayers. And I said, this man is my teacher. And I left, and I said, I know I need to come back. And I know I need to become a Muslim because Hazrat Mevlana is a Muslim, and he's called me. He's called me to this path. All of a sudden the man stops and looks at me. And I knew so little Turkish, but he looked at me and said, Okur. I'm like, what? And all I knew how to say or sing was, there is no God but God. But something about his writings spoke to my heart. They were music to me. I used to say, his words danced. His words danced when I read them. And that was reading in English. And now I read in Farsi, and now they dance more. And as I read his words, the meaning inside those words start to come deeper, deeper. And there's more, there's always more. And it always, every word leads me to Quran. And what's the message I learned from Quran? That the greatest thing that Allah gives to us is love. Allah gives us everything. The way of Hazrat Mawlana is the way of love. The way of Allah is the way of love. The way of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the way of love. Ashq yolu. This is the way. The way of love as a Mevlevi is to be the way of a kul, to be a servant. To be a servant to God, to serve God, to do everything as service to God. That's the way of kuluk, right? To be a servant. There is no other way.